You know the drill. You're on a plane, you found your seat, and right on cue, you hear the announcement to switch to airplane mode.
We all do it, but have you ever stopped to wonder why? What actually happens if you forget?
Right. This little icon. It's become a standard part of flying. But the reason it's so important is probably not what you think. And honestly, it has very little to do with the safety of your actual plane.
Yup, you heard that right. The real reason for airplane mode isn't to keep your plane from falling out of the sky. It's actually to stop your one single phone from causing a whole lot of trouble for a whole lot of people down on the ground. To get why, we've got to first understand a little bit about how your phone works.
Okay, so let's break it down. Your phone, right now, is a little communication machine, constantly sending and receiving invisible signals that are flying all around us.
It does all this using radio waves. The best way to think about it is that your phone is constantly shouting out, looking for a cell tower to talk to. These shouts are just invisible waves of energy packed with information.
And when I say shout, I mean it. This is some serious power we're talking about. It's a broadcast so incredibly strong that if our eyes could see radio waves, your phone's signal would be a bright beacon, visible all the way from Jupiter. Seriously, it's that powerful.
So here's how that connection process works. First, your phone shouts out, looking for service. Simple enough. Second, the farther away it is from a cell tower, the more battery it burns to shout even louder. And third, once it connects, the tower gives your phone a unique frequency. You can think of it like a specific color, so your conversation doesn't get all jumbled up with somebody else's.
Now, a phone shouting on the ground, that's totally normal. But what happens when you take that same shouting phone and put it thousands of feet up in the air? Well, that's where the real problem starts.
Up in a plane, your phone is super far away from any cell tower it knows how to talk to. Plus, it's zooming along at hundreds of miles per hour, so it kind of starts to panic, desperately trying to find a signal.
And what does it do when it panics? It cranks its power all the way to the max. It uses every bit of energy it has to send out the loudest possible shout, just screaming for a connection from way up there in the sky.
And here's the crazy part. Because your phone is so high up and moving so fast, that superpowered shout doesn't just hit one cell tower. Oh no, it blasts dozens of them, all at once, with this massive, overwhelming signal. You basically, and accidentally, become what the slide says, a military radio jammer.
So here's the bottom line. Your one phone, from 30,000 feet, creates so much electronic noise that it can literally drown out the signals for hundreds, maybe even thousands of people on the ground. That's why their calls get choppy or their internet slows down. You're jamming the network for everyone below.
And this is where the story gets even bigger, because your one phone is just a tiny part of this massive, invisible problem. It's a crisis of noise that's filling up our skies. It all feeds into this vicious cycle. See, all our gadgets send out these rogue radio waves, and that creates interference. For us, that just feels like slow internet or a dropped call. So what do? We demand more bandwidth. So companies launch more satellites, which then, you guessed it, fills the sky with even more radio noise. It just makes the whole problem worse.
And this cycle? It has a pretty profound cost. All of this man-made noise isn't just messing with our phone calls. It's actually blinding us, preventing us from listening to the universe itself.
See, scientists use these enormous radio telescopes to listen for the absolute faintest whispers from space. We're talking about signals that have traveled for billions of years from black holes and far-off galaxies, signals that hold the secrets of how everything began.
But here's the harsh reality. Look at this comparison. On the left, that's what astronomers are trying to hear, those ancient, delicate signals from the cosmos. But on the right, that's what they actually get. A deafening roar of our own technology. Our 5G networks, our satellites, our electronics, all of our noise is drowning out the universe.
And that leads to a pretty sobering fact. Thanks to our hyper-connected world, we've wrapped the entire planet in this blanket of radio waves. There are no silent places left. Nowhere on Earth where we can just listen to space without interruption.
So, the next time you tap that little airplane mode icon, just remember, you're not only being a good passenger, you're playing one tiny part in helping to quiet our noisy planet. And it leaves you with a really big question, doesn't it? In our endless need to connect with each other down here, are we accidentally cutting off our connection to everything out there?